everybody that's in here. I have a brother, Randy. We are both brothers in Holy Spirit, and we are both natural brothers. And, you know, the following day, he had a dream that was, I mean, first of all, my dream was just Mark 2:19. No visual or anything like that for anybody who didn't watch that particular series. Um, I was in a deep sleep and I woke up verbally saying Mark 2:19 over and over and over and over again. Um, the following day, now my brother, he has lots of dreams. However, he had one, and Pastor Dave reminded me of this the following day, and I still haven't quite figured it out. But his was angle 401 escape, and that was it. He was given those words. And 401 happens to be one of 7 super numbers. They're Yahweh's numbers, and 401 actually means there's 2 letters that go together for that, and one is the Aleph and the Tav, or the Alpha and the Omega in the Greek. And it shows up in a few scriptures, but it's right in between the middle of the 7 first words in the creation, and that's Genesis 1:1. There was actually an 8th word. It's called F, and it's the Aleph and the Tav. The Aleph, of course, the Alpha and the Tav is a pictogram for the cross, and it would just go to show that Yahweh would just put that right in the middle of the first 7 words of the Bible. Okay.
Wow.
It's the 8th word, you might say, right smack in the middle. And the 401 is, see, our system is numbered. Okay. Everything is numbered. 401 happens to be a mathematical equation in dimension. Instead of having an angle that would go to 360 degrees, it would actually be a secondary circle and a 401. But I can't figure it out. Maybe somebody in the room is a really good mathematician and they might be able to. I just find it interesting that he's never had a verbal dream. I've never had a verbal dream. And then all of a sudden we get them back to back. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. Maybe somebody can come up with something. Yes. Okay. Kind of getting into some numbers here. First of all, I did some lookups, and I had heard this before about the pregnancy thing, the 9-month. I believe I was listening to Biltz actually say something about it, but I don't know. I've heard so many different things. But the gals out there would know better for this. But I started looking up conception to birth. And I didn't realize. I just thought, okay, 9 months. 9 months is a pregnancy, and 40 weeks. And I just figured, okay, that's 9 months also. The gals would know that conception to birth is actually 266 days. I did some research to find that. A normal pregnancy is 280, but 266 is and it's the conception time to birth, and that is from the prior menstrual period that comes up to, I believe, the 266. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is not my thing to know, how the birth process works, okay? All I know is that my birth happened some time ago, not 55 years ago for me, but, a few years back. I mean, I was always been a soldier for Yeshua and Yahweh, but I became born again, deeply born again, and feverishly here a few years back. And that's my birth, okay? So, anyway, um, okay. Anyway, so I started adding up some numbers, okay? And it's interesting, there our whole system is filled with numbers, okay? Everything, dates. Every time I go look up something to do with dates or times, or whether I'm reading these things in the Bible, whatever the number is, when Yahweh puts a number out there, there's a reason for it in every single case. So anyway, 266, seems kind of interesting. Anyway, in 2014, the Passover begins on 4/15, and also that's the blood moon, and that starts the tetrad. Now, Kerry announced on July 30th, okay, is 9 months to complete the peace in the Middle East. Now, unless I'm wrong, unless there's another date out there that I'm not aware of, okay, it's July 30th. Now, he's given a 9 months to complete the peace process in the Middle East. Well, from 7/30, 2013 to 4/22, 2013, let's see. Noting that the 7-day Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, actually ends on 4/22. So 7/30, 2013 to 4/22 is actually 266 days, not 9 months. It lands right on 266. So that is the exact time from conception to birth. And so now, from and including, let's see, we start with Tuesday, July 30th, and if we take it out to Tuesday, May 6th, then that's a period of 280 days, and that would be to the 40-week birth. Now, May 6th happens to be during the counting of the Omar. I don't know how many people are familiar with that, but it's the 50 the 50-day period or 40-day period, which happens after the beginning of the Passover. So anyway, May 6, 2014 happens to be during the counting of the Omar, and it's a 21-day period, or 22, depending on how you look at it. But in this, I'm going to say 21, because it's also going to be the same, identical to where I'm going, and it doesn't matter if it's 21 or 22, but I'm going to use it in this example as 21. Anyway, this counting also happened to be an identical match back in 1948, and that was a date we all remember, which is May 14th. So that Saturday, April 24th, 1948, shows up to exactly May 6th, 2014. It's an identical match. And I do find that quite interesting. Now, what happened in 1948? One day after they proclaimed that they were a sovereign nation, war broke out. Okay, so this is also something that I find rather interesting in the timing. Uh, Yahweh, he uses these numbers all the time, and trying to figure out his math is, after it happens, you can kind of go in and go, okay, well, here's the math, and here's the math. But to try to put them together when it's still happening is very difficult to do. Okay. So anyway, those are the things that I found really rather interesting about the 21-day Omar and what's happening on May 6th, as well as the other days, because of course we've got the 415, that's the April 15, 2014, which begins Passover, and we've got an alignment in there with the 422, which ends the Passover. So anyway, I mean, it's hard to say, I mean, Yahweh is in control of all things. And, Kerry, he may not even know, or he could be handed something down by these scary guys that control him. And we all know who they are. Right. So it's hard to say, but Yahweh always has control. He controls all things. He pushes a button and they go. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's evil or whatever. He is in 100% control of all things, everything. And it's all been foretold before creation, even us. He knew exactly who we were at creation, and as well what we were going to be and do. We were chosen from the foundations of the universe, which is quite interesting. Anyway, I do want to share a website because I knew that the tetrads absolutely have something to do with dates and times. Let me get here just a minute. I'm going to share this. So I did some research, and actually I did this about a month ago, and I haven't really had the time to go through and figure out the math. I don't like math, okay? However, I do it. It gives me a head spin after a few hours, and I just have to kind of drop it and go away. It wasn't one of my extra special gifts, but Yahweh's been working with me because I sure do a lot of number crunching, even though I don't like it. I still do it with a smile on my face. So I'm going to put the link in here. I hope it all shows up. And anyway, it's to the 5does.com. And what I found interesting is a numerical pattern. And I'm going to try to enlarge the screen so I can read it to you, but it would probably make more sense to you if you had it in front of you. And you don't have to do it now if you don't want to, but whenever you want.